Yes, lad.
Hello.
Yes, lad.
Yeah, we're back again.
Karma Cobb in the house, mate.
Whoop, whoop.
That's right, lad. Now then.
Yeah, man. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Really good. Yeah, yeah, really good, mate. Tired, but in a good way. Manageably tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Been lit up this weekend from seeing my kids, mate. You know what I mean? I see my daughter once a fortnight. Um, and yesterday was the second time we've done it, and yeah, successful, mate.
Yeah, it's
So,
good progress, isn't it?
yeah, defo, 100%. Yeah, mate, so Sarge, yeah, nice to see you, John. This is the first season two one about. I've been trying to nail about 6 people down. And we did sit down to do it about a week ago, didn't we?
Yeah,
Because,
yeah. So,
yeah, yeah, but it got case now. So I want to start by appreciating you this week. Thanks. I look back on our bid, mate, and it was enlightening. So, yeah, I learned a lot. Yeah, so we it was a real new relationship, wasn't it? Last year, this time, just over
yeah,
12
yeah.
months, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was proper fresh, man.
Yeah, yeah. And what I want to start with season two, the first question that's got to be: have you stayed clean, brother?
I have, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, it is, that's amazing. Well, I want to congratulate you for that, mate. I knew you had, you know what I mean. I spoke to you, but yeah, that's unbelievable. So just for like anyone who was to watch this early doors, even for you looking back in like years to come, have would you admit that cocaine was your drug of choice, or was it kind of anything? I'm not unsure on that.
Um, yeah, it was drink for me. I didn't touch any drug unless I was drunk first.
So I get you. So, all right, well, that kind of alters my question. So, have you had any obsession over the last 12 months to pick a drink up? Have you been close? Have you?
No. Well, in the last 12 months, yeah. One time, I was at a meeting and I someone shared that they wouldn't take a drug even if you paid them, and I related to that, and I wasn't in fit spiritual condition, and I
Yeah,
went to one of the rave nights that I go to every Friday, once a month,
yeah.
and I found myself wanting what they had at the rave, uh, and someone offered me some Mandy. I said no straight away, and when he offered me a line. It was the longest 10, it was only like 10 seconds, but it was the longest 10 seconds in my head. And I was sat debating in the toilet whether to do it or not for 10 seconds. And it just terrified me, man. And I left.
Do you know what? I forgot that. That was quite early on. I didn't realize. I remember that happening. I was still
Yeah,
living
that
in
was
Nashville at the time.
6 months, I think I was in.
Yeah. Wow.
But since then, no, nothing else since then.
But
I
when
doubled down on my efforts.
yeah, and when you think back in 12 months, like one true obsession is phenomenal. What has that? We've got a reason why we've come to that, know what I mean? But then people who come around, who are new around, just coming in the door, to go 12 months with one obsession sounds phenomenal, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but again, as we know, the little trick, just one day at a time. So one of them days of the last. So how clean are you now? Anyway, how many months altogether?
15.
Yeah, so like a year and a third or a quarter in it. Yeah, so one day where you had one obsession is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was always drilled home to me by my sponsor that the higher power is the thing that will keep me safe.
Yeah,
And if I'm not connected, the thing that I swore I would never do again suddenly starts seeming a bit more appealing to me. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Oh yeah,
um,
them words that I'm never going to do it again. Them thoughts, oh, what's up with me and all that. The kind of like these little things. Do you get answers, don't you, when you're there? When you're the party? I have
yeah,
to hold me thing up. My thing broke. My stand broke, so I have to hold it. Um, yeah, it's phenomenal because we can't. I'm kind of sat here because I'm on the same path. I'd say you're further on. Know what I mean? I've used since I'm not going to cut. It's going to sound straight. You know what I mean? I went back to the beginning. Ended up homeless and all that. But yeah, phenomenal, mate. So I kind of feel. I know it's not a race or not, and you enjoy the destination, but I'm kind of a bit behind you on the 12-step process. That's fact, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
mm,
And we've actually got the same sponsor, which wasn't the case when we done this last time, was it? You know what I mean?
Nah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's mad when you take like an objective view and you think back. It's mad how life like so kind of like the message that the way you hold yourself, the message you carry, the work you do in recovery. We've kind of got the same lead, haven't we? You know what I mean? Although our lives are totally different.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so I just want to get into the nitty. I want to get a bit of your story because obviously I want to come at this interview as if like this channel's a gift to me daughter in the future, whatever that be, whatever twists and turns through others. Um, so again, so I want to get across like so you were from Coventry, and I didn't it hit me when I watched your video back to like the trauma you had as a child, around drug abuse of your mom, the death of your
Mm.
dad, all this stuff growing up. Know what I mean? But like going back to Coventry is like your spirit. I don't know, not your spiritual home, but it's like it's got a place in your heart, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, of
yeah,
course. It's where my family and everything, like most of my life was spent there, you know.
yeah. So it's kind of like in a loose term, you'd say your roots. But like you probably spent more time elsewhere in the country, I should imagine. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, mum being a self-proclaimed gypsy, she moved me and my brother and that all over the country. So the Coventry was always known as home for us, but we could make home wherever we landed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, because I'm learning there as well. You know what I mean? So like, but Coventry's got that special place. You know what I mean? It's where your formative years and all that always ended up back there. So the question
Mm.
is, because I've got an experience on this, what's it like going back to Coventry? You've been back over the last 12 months, and we'll get into the why you went back. But how does it feel, and how's it changed over these last 12 months, and why has it changed?
Uh, yeah, so um, been back to Coventry a few times. When I first started going there, I had massive anxiety. And it would be fine up until you hit them signs on as you're now entering Coventry. As soon as I passed that sign, mad anxiety, fear, uh, you name it. I couldn't. I felt weird as soon as I crossed that area because even though I've not been there for 4 years, my old using habits and the destruction I caused, most of it was there. So visiting back into that place, I got a sense of I'm going back to the place where where it all happened, and I'll be vulnerable going back there again. Um, Seeing the same old faces, doing the same old things. When you're in the safety of your recovery, that you think you're fine, but it's only when coming out of it that you realise the fears creep in because you're not actually totally comfortable outside of your safety net. You
Yeah,
know, and then you start to second. Well, I start second guessing my recovery. Like, am I spiritually strong enough to be around this, to around these people back in the same old life? You know, even if it be for a day. You know, the old feelings, the old chats, the banter of the lads, everything just floods back into your life in an instant, and it can
yeah.
take over. But there was a lot of fear. And then the more the more I went to Coventry. To be honest with you, I've been sober 15 months, yeah, and I've been going commentary since before I started the program, all the way through my recovery, and it's only the last couple of months that it started improving. You know,
That's yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
mate.
yeah,
Go on.
it's been hard. Like, there's been times I've sat in my car and I'm reading over the book, full of fear, full of anxiety, and it's a growing thing though. You know, putting myself in these situations, if I'm not comfortable doing it, as long as I'm connected, I won't do it because I know it's a bad idea. But if I'm in that position and I'm feeling uncomfortable, then that's highlighting certain things to me that I need to deal with. Like, i.e., fears, mainly fears, because it says in the book, then we're driven by 100 forms of fear.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, but it has improved over the last couple of months, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to explore that. I want to share a bit of my story on what. So, like, Skelmersdale is where my kids live. Wasn't born there, but like, so I've got like, so like Liverpool's like in me core, but also where it's done me majority, vast 95% of me living and using all that stuff was in Scam, you know what I mean? So going back when I left Scam, it was torturous to leave originally, you know what I mean? I want to get this across to my daughter. She's probably won't watch it for a long time, but I just want to get this message at this point in time. So leaving was torturous. I thought I was abandoning my children. X amount of time had gone on where I hadn't seen them. There was no hope of seeing them, and to leave was tough. But then when I was coming back, it was strange. Or like before it even got to them, my mum was always on public transport, so I could get, yeah, and there was a couple of options I could go. But like leading about half an hour before I got there, even getting on the train or the bus on the start, that's when the feelings had come. And then the bills, once I got in, it's heightened again. And then getting into the estates and seeing the pubs and seeing the people done strange things to me. And it was one of them. I probably wouldn't have went. I don't know, I had all the negative views, like, oh, no early doors in my recovery. This was a long time before I met you. You know, like all my family would blame the people in the place, and I knew that not to be true. You know what I mean? But it's easy, like so. People, I'd have people who like I'd have managers and people in authority who kind of like were guiding me, telling me not to go back and that. But he had the children there and my family there, and yeah, it was really torturous for me, you know what I mean? And a couple of times, as you know, the dance, my Christmas insanity, where it go home to be normal, the feelings would come, the behaviours would come. I'd go to pubs, drinking water, or I'd go to houses where I've used, and
Yeah,
inevitably pick up, you know what I mean? But it's different today. This new look I've got now on myself and recovery, it's a lot more balanced and stable. I kind of go into Scam now with a mission. I'm going here, I'm going there. There's not much but like my time spent with the people I love there, who I've got a special place in my heart, and always will. Um, is a lot more fruitful, but there's kind of like an issue. There's an entrance and an exit planned. Um, yeah, so it's mad. Is that your experience? Because I know your partner's got a family there, so there's a lot of that. You do. I want you do your rap. I want to come on to the rap towards the end, because that's lit me up there. So, kind of, do you enter commentary with a plan, with a mission, and like how
yeah,
does it go?
yeah. I mean, he says in the book that it's being careful not to take any vicarious pleasure. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if I'm going down to a place to sit around people drinking and taking drugs to get some sort of feeling from it, to make me happy by watching other people being happy, and that's wrong.
yeah,
So whatever I do, if I'm in wet places or in people's houses and they're doing whatever they're doing, I go down to Coventry for a reason. You know, once I've done that, then there's no need for me to be there because then
yeah,
I will be sat enjoying that vicarious pleasure. Then, maybe not at first, but over time, then things will start being introduced to me, and I'll start second guessing my recovery and start wanting to be back in that old life. It's old habits. I
yeah,
spent years in Coventry doing the same thing every day with the same people, and I've gone down to Coventry with people that have done the same thing. They've bumped into their old friends, and within hours they're back at it.
yeah,
So I go with a firm belief to go there for that reason. There's no other reason for me to stay there then. So why am I there? My time could be spent with my family and doing better things, being a service to other people. I don't need to be sat there.
yeah. Yeah, and again, I want to just divulge it because I know a bit of the backstory, and I've got an idea of why you're so comfortable there now. But you had to go, but them early doors that you said that have changed now, where the feelings are there. You went with specific missions as part of the 12-step process, didn't you? You know what I mean? Divulge as much or as little as you would, I like about them, but I'm interested. I've heard a little bit of it, but like what? If you're uncomfortable, we'll move on. But like, what was that process like, and how did it turn out for you?
Um, you're on about the amends process.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously you went a couple of times, but I remember one in particular where we parted company and you were on a mission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of went down, and has that helped you get a comfort around there now?
Yeah, yeah, it has. I mean, there's there's been amends that I've had to make, and it's always suggested that you speak to your sponsor first before you make these amends. And I was in Coventry at the time at that point, and it was an amends to my cousin. And while making the amends, I've gave us some information to create a new amends, but while making the first original amends. So
Wow.
then that was a sticky situation. Yeah, definitely. It was that moment where I was like, yeah, I should have spoke to my sponsor, man, because this blew
Yeah.
up on my face. Um, but it was something that she needed to know as well. So
Yeah.
in a way, it's something that it backfired on me, but it would have came to light anyway. So it's like a double amends that had to be made. It didn't go down well at first, and that's her to do that. It's not for me to
Yeah.
control the outcome.
Yeah.
Um, the most recent one I've done it to my old boss, that I used to work with in plumbing. We've had like physical altercations with each other. Um, and I knocked his door. Something was telling me I was on the M6, and something was saying, go and knock Anthony's door." And then on the way down, I'm like, he's gonna give me a hug, he's gonna shake me, and it's gonna be wicked. As soon as I hit Coventry, he's gonna batter you, he's gonna punch you, he's gonna grab you in the arse, and I'm full of fear straight away. And I knocked his door, and I've never been in recovery that scared in my life. Not scared of what he could do physically, just scared of not knowing where he
Yeah.
was at, because I haven't seen this man for 8 years, something like that. So just not knowing, that fear of not knowing what's going to happen or what to expect. And he let me in the door, and I said, "Look, I'm here to make an amends. Um, Tell me how it made you feel," and that. And it just the complete opposite happened. It was all really good. I ended up rapping in his kitchen. Fucking just mental. Like, he was drinking, so there was only so much I could do because I knew it wouldn't really make sense to him otherwise. But yeah, it's that I come away from that with just a lot of more freedom from the damage of the past that I've done there. So yeah, it's the missions that I've gone down. That I didn't go to commentary for that amends at that point either. That was just something that came in my head, and it ended up being a good experience.
So just right, that's right. Boss that. I love because not heard that story. No, I know. There's a lot we haven't talked about. Know what I mean? We were living in close proximity, where so like your early recovery, even before you fully come into recovery, like we were kind of. That's when we were forging our relationship. Then obviously my Christmas debauchery kind of sent us on a tangent. So I don't see it as much now. But a lot's
Mm.
happened, hasn't it? Know what I mean? A lot's happened. You are the proud father of a new baby boy, mate. So I want to congratulate you all for that. How's
Yeah,
that been? How's that been, the fatherhood process in recovery?
yeah. That's been. I wouldn't say hard. It's been challenging. Um, because my first son, he was a daddy's boy, and I was using at that point. I was in the madness. So I wasn't really present, even though I was there. I wasn't present through that early stage of being a dad. His early stage of being a child. Um, so to go through it all now, in recovery, being actually present and accountable for my actions, it's a lot more challenging. But I think it's because there was so many things. Because I was always out, I missed out on a lot of things that happened with JJ. With him growing up. The little things that you notice about whether what they like, what they don't like, how they react to you when you're around, or their preferences between mum and dad, or and their eating habits, stuff like that. And it's like I've learned it all from scratch.
Yeah,
So before I would tell people I'm a good dad, but when I look back at the early years of my son before we started speaking, I don't have a clue, and it's like I've learned all that from scratch, and all these questions and fears again arise of whether I'm doing it right, or am I doing it just because my partner does it a certain way and just to make her happy, or is it because I think that that's what's right? It's a lot more challenging, but gratifying as well, because even though I'm finding it hard at the moment, it's the fact that I'm going through it sober, you know. and I'm giving my 100% because I'm able to give my 100% for it
Yeah.
for the first time in my life. It's good.
Yeah, it broke up a bit then, but I got the gist of what you said, so I don't know what I'll come across like on the recording. But yeah, do you know what my truth is, and this was a dawn that's happened to me over the last 6 months. I was kind of the opposite. Well, I don't know how present I was, but I done the early stuff, the feeds, done it with both kids. Where from four, I didn't see my lad for 2 years. No, just short of 2 years. So
Mm.
like now I was overwhelmed when I come back into his life. Have like the riding the bike, teaching to swim. There's loads of being all day. We're not done that. I've done with my daughter, but actually how present I was in each given moment is like still coming to terms with. I don't know the answer to that, but the basics, the general life learnings and lessons, and that are dramatically altered in the second one. But again, don't want to labour the negative. The presence I feel in a couple of hours with them now has lights me up. What I've had to do, and I want to say this for any recovering addicts who's just coming in, I had to focus on like the swimming. So I had the two kids, different ages, different sexes, and I couldn't please both of them at the same time. They kind of like I was learning lessons as I come back into the life that were like
Yeah.
sometimes were quite painful. Um, where I'd take them both to pictures, one would be happy, one wouldn't. We go to the baths, one would be happy, one wouldn't. So I had to separate them. But as I've separated them, I focused on my lad and all them deficiencies. What I was focused on, I was blaming the extras stopping me from seeing them. I've now spun that and I've got a bit of responsibility. But what I've had to do is I've had to focus on like swimming. So for the last 10 weeks, we've been swimming every time I see him. Uh, and that's going really well. Now we've developed up, and it's not a case of me with my daughter. She was a girl, she was like 4 or 5, and I'm behind her on a bike. Like my lad was on a bike this weekend, his mate's bike, and it's kind of like suck it and see. He's just having a little go and keep my eye on him through the window. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big difference. But do you know what? It's life's good, mate. It's good. These things in addiction. Do you have an experience of this that like when it kind of dawns on you your deficiency and where you went wrong? Once you've had that blow, to like then correct it in future at a later stage is really liberating, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if to me, if you're in recovery and the stuff that you didn't learn from before, and you're not learning from it again, then that's you're not taking action on that. Then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've been like you say, you take that blow, you take action on the next time. Because as parents, we know it don't feel nice to feel that way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially when you're going through recovery,
yeah,
because there's no excuse now. Do you know what I mean? You can do it, so we've got
yeah.
to be doing them things next time.
Yeah. I know what was a big blow for me, the delusion. I am a good parent, you know what I mean? All the stuff I've done
Mm.
that, like, so I'm not going to go into personal, you know what I mean? But like that delusion, I've done my best. That was one for me. I've done my best. Yeah, I was an
Yeah,
addict. Yeah, I did do some horrible stuff, but I've done my best. And it's a big blow, isn't it? You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think, yeah, what's commendable for you, John, because we're so different in our stories into recovery, you know what I mean? You had the responsibility of the house, the job, the child, all this stuff, where I had the absence of fatherhood, no job, and no like supported housing, you know what I mean? So it's totally different. But and I often speak to about this, them spinning them responsibility plates, which you do have a choice to do, but you don't do, you know what I mean? You've got to go to work. You've got to provide in the house. You've got to do the dad chores, and you've got to recover as well. All this stuff. How was it like? We call it spinning plates, don't we? I've spoken to you about it. How's it been spinning your responsibility plates over the last 12 months?
um, difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm being honest, yeah, it's been difficult. The thing is, it's difficult when I don't put the recovery first.
Yeah,
You know, before when I was just in recovery, it was all recovery. Um, And then, like we say, the goalpost move, you know. So I'm recovered of drugs and alcohol now. Now I can start taking on more responsibility. Now I can start being more a productive member of society. Yeah. Um, but with that comes a lot more things to think about. You know, you're taking on different challenges all day, every day. My job was a massive fear for me, massive fear because I was on agency. I was still on agency, but whether I'll be kept on or not because I was the breadwinner of the house. Yeah. Um, so that was a big fear for me whether I'd stay in my job or not. Spinning that plate, you know, things were going bad at work. Things were being bad at the house because my partner expected me to be at home more now that I was sober, but she didn't fully understand that in order for me to be sober, I need to work with others. I need to be going to meetings. I need to be doing my step work, you know,
Yeah,
and then obviously that takes time away from the house. Um, and the other thing was what personal time, you know. I felt resentments sometimes that I had no personal time because my personal time went into recovery time. So in the
yeah,
early days, well, it's early days, it's still early days, but
yeah,
it was recovery and work and my family life. You know, my personal time was my recovery time, and my family time was a lot less because one, I was at work 9 to 5, 5 days a week, so I'm out the house 80% of the time, and then the 20% that I do have left, 10% had to go recovery, and 10 like or 15% recovery. I'd have a tiny piece to spend with the family, but as I've been doing the program more, I've come up with like time sheets to spend around the feeds of Brody, you know, my little one. You know, it's more manageable. It says in in the step nine promises, you know, intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. You know, my work's picked up, so my work is no longer a fear, so that I don't have to. I'm just naturally good at what I'm doing at work now because I'm connected, and things at home they're not always good, but when they're bad, we come together to find a solution for it. You know, so
yeah,
the juggling of the plates is a lot easier when I put recovery first.
yeah. Yeah, and again, I imagine like you concentrate, one plate's gonna fall, so you concentrate on that area, and it's a constant moving around, like you see on the telly when they spin. Know what I mean? It's a constant moving around and focusing
Yeah,
on an area. Yeah, Sam, but good on you, mate. Good on you. Can't be easy, mate. So yeah, I want to talk about so like you've just said it then, and I've not really thought about that. But your personal time, like you like to rap, don't you? You've done quite a bit of rapping over the last 12 months, haven't you?
yeah,
Yeah, just talk us through what you've done rap wise in the last 12 months, because there's been some good stuff.
yeah. So basically, I've been rapping for about 11 years, and I've only been recovered for 1 year, and I've done more in this last year rapping than I have done 11 years, 10 years prior.
Yeah,
So you know, before I would do say a music video every 2, 3 years. You know, I've done countless. I've done 2, 3 open mics down in Coventry. I've done a rap battle recently. I've got a music video planned in November. I've also done a music video with three other artists in Blackpool. Um, I've gone down to do ciphers in Coventry. You know, just the stuff. I've made my own Spotify account. Some of my songs are available to stream for the first time, which I've been talking about doing for about 7 years. You know, it's the action part of it. I've sat in kitchens for so many times telling people I'm good and I can do this and that. And it's literally in this last year, things have materialized beyond my wildest dreams, you know, music wise, because it's something I always wanted to do.
yeah.
And I wasn't able to do it, you know, because drugs took over that.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And again, I remember that early doors when you just come in for this run, know what I mean, where you give it your all, and we went out for that. You wrote a song to your missus or your missus's mum, which can't recall it. You wrote
Yeah,
that song.
mother-in-law. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and we went to that place. What was that place called?
Dirty Blondes.
Yeah, in Blackpool, like in the back street, wasn't it? What a night that was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I filmed. Yeah, I've got that on my phone. I'll pull that up. Do you
yeah, I
mind if I
forgot
put
about
that?
that.
Do you mind if I put the video on this channel, mate? Because
Yeah,
I'll
put it
go.
up, mate.
Yeah, I'll put it on after this. Yeah, that lit me up. I felt so proud looking at you that night. I could see the nerves. We had like your partner and their family. There was a few of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like just thinking back and recalling that. That was like the first proper night out in recovery, surrounded in a boozer, surrounded by ale, where like it wasn't about the ale. I had a few friends from fellowship come in. It was good, like a night that. Got some.
yeah. I mean, I'd done that song on my birthday, so when I was, because I was early in the program, I thought, selfless thing. My mother-in-law, we never had a great relationship, obviously, because I was her and the daughter through what I was doing. And this idea came into my head to write a song for her because she's been asking for one for years. And I didn't have the words to write because I didn't like her. So I didn't have nothing good to say to her,
I'm laughing.
But as the mist cleared and I started being closer to her, and she could see that I was doing this properly, it wasn't just a pipe dream. And yeah, I ended up coming up with some lyrics and stuff, meaningful stuff that's happened. And I made a song for her on my birthday, and she cries every time she hears it now. But yeah,
Yeah,
like when I said it to the guys in the fellowship, and they all offered to come out and see me, I was blown away.
yeah,
I was like, what? Like I've
yeah,
got friends that do music, and they wouldn't come and see me, and they'd
yeah,
say they support me, and they're my friend, and I've got some of them are strangers, don't even know that well, and they're giving up their time to come and see me. Like you said, surrounded but safe, safe
yeah,
in that environment. It was good.
yeah,
It was really good to see that.
yeah. And you know what? Because again, I was kind of there for you that night, and just thinking back now, what a night that was. You know what I mean? In early recovery, that was done in the spirit of recovery. There
Yeah.
was no fear. I'm not saying there wasn't fear of you and performing, but no fear of going to a wet place. No, it was just pure unadulterated fucking sorry for saying, just like nice house, like outside of recovery, but it's not. It was all everyone in recovery, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, and our mate done the magic trick. I'm just recalling it now. It's making me smile.
Yeah,
The
I think
doctor.
that was before we started getting well known around here.
Yeah, he's flying now, isn't he? Yeah, that's right. I'll have to get him on here. Yeah, you'll be
Yeah,
able to,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, what a nice house. Make me smile. Like, what a nice. You must have been a month or 2 months in there. But if it was your birthday, you could probably work it out.
No, yeah, it was a couple of about 3 or 4 months in. So
Yeah,
yeah, very fresh. Um, Nervous, like you said. I had fear of my music, but there was no fear of the environment I was in.
yeah. I filmed. I went up to the side. I kind of do that in here when my mates are performing. I like to film them. That's something I've developed. You know what I mean? But kind of like that was probably the first example of where one of my mates have been performing, and I really concentrate. But yeah, I'll be boss to watch that back. I'll do that.
Yeah,
So
man.
just right. So what was that rap battle like? Because I spoke to you in a couple of weeks. Like I've been making a bigger effort with my Blackpool friends these last few months because I'm getting a bit of relief from my hairs, a bit of focus off my troubles as to gone. But I remember you were going away, you had a lot of fear. Talk us through the fear and how you'd overcome that. Talk us about the event, first of all, give a bit of background and
Yeah.
how you
So
dealt with it in recovery.
so the place that I've been doing a lot of shows at recently is called Motive Man in Coventry. They rang me up one day out of the blue and said we've got a rap battle on. You have to take part in it, and that kind of fed my ego. Like, yeah, they've come to me because they know I'm good. Yeah, and I said yeah straight away. And I don't know whether my higher power said yeah or my ego, but to be fair, I think it was ego. I think it was ego and fear because I didn't want to say no. Um, that people pleasing. Someone asks you to do something straight away. I'm like, yeah, yeah, sweet, I'll do it. And I'm not thinking the consequences till after. But they asked me to come down, and straight away, as soon as I got off the phone, this wave of fear come all over me because this rap battle thing is something I've had in my head since I started doing rapping. It's been a fear that I've had in the back of my head where what if someone calls you out? What are you gonna say and how would that happen? And what would happen uh from that rap battle? You know, the consequences afterwards. So that's always been in my mind from a long time ago. And as soon as I said, yeah, I was riddled with fear, they gave me a week to come up with stuff that I needed to write for this other guy. I didn't know who the other guy was, so there was a massive fear because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know what was going to happen, what he had on me. Just so much stuff that I didn't know, and that drove me mad. It really did. It's the first time in my recovery that I've had to deal with a proper fear. I've not really been fearful of many things. I've had slight fears, but nothing like that. This was major for me.
Yeah, and what would you say it was? A fear of the unknown and like loads of departments? Do you
Yeah,
reckon that it
yeah.
was?
I mean, I I don't know if I have a fear of because before I wanted to know who it was and I wanted to be the best one in the room. That was a fear that I wouldn't be that. But then it was I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to be able to deliver a decent performance, and not fuck up on anything that I'm saying. So just fear in all aspects. Fear can come out the same patterns of behavior of me using. I was snappy to my partner. I wasn't present. I was constantly on my phone, constantly trying to do things to control the situation to make sure I was prepared and not just like take it easy and think that everything will be all right, trust in my higher power. There was none of that. I took it all back, I took it all back and suffered, punching walls and everything. Like it's just mad. The behavior looking back on it is crazy. Um, and straight away after it happened, we had 3 rounds. I won 2 out of 3, so I ended up being all right. But when I got there, how calm and collected I was compared to the journey down. It was full of fear on the way down. And then once I started seeing that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was in my own head, I
Yeah.
started to relax. I prayed a lot on the way down as well to help me through it. And then once I got the first round out of the way, because I was the first one up as well before anyone, so that was even worse. Um, and I just started to see that if it's false evidence appearing real. That's what it is. In my head, I told myself it was this massive, massive life or death situation, and it wasn't. When I got there, I'd done it. I was like, what? What was all that about? You know? And I come back up the next day. I don't know. I was more spiritual than ever. Um, Kind of like a realization moment to go like, this is what my pattern of behavior has been, and
Yeah.
what can I take from that because that was ridiculous.
Uh,
I need to step up on what I'm doing to deal with these fears.
but you nearly cried with relief, didn't you? Like the mocking of
Yeah,
yourself
yeah,
must have been a range of emotions. I can see it now. Is there a recording of that performance? Is it on any social media?
yeah. I've got a couple. I've got 2, 3 videos. Yeah,
Yeah, send us them, lad. That's right.
yeah,
So
man.
I just say that's boss that. And again, so you had all that time. I'm punching the wall. I heard that. You know what I mean? I didn't have you down for that. You know what I mean? But I can just
Yes.
imagine it. Tortured. That's the thing when you're tortured, and that's the word. And
Yeah,
that you no longer. You'd have been out that. You'd have. I don't know me. I'd have went. You're so and so. The partner would have got it. I'd have stormed out the door for the first couple of hours of using. It'd have been like she's done this, she's done that, all that, but we don't have that option no more. So there must be moments where, yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that, but there must be moments where you're round the bend with like, obviously in this case it was obsession, and like that old crux of how we used to behave is not there, but you can also see it. You don't see it all, but you see aspects of the insanity that you're in. It's very
yeah,
uncomfortable. Yeah, mad. What a story though. You got through them challenges clean and then grew in the challenge. Wait, that's the spirit of recovery for me. That.
mm, yeah.
And what future stuff have you got lined up with rapping?
Um, Nothing much. So I've got a record label that me and a couple of other artists have put together. So we're just navigating through that. We've never started the label, don't know what it entitles. Um, just trying to get material made and pushed out there as much as possible, and do some shows, some live shows, and hopefully the aim for it for me, I do it for the love of the music. Yeah, I love the feeling I get when everyone starts cheering over something I've said. Like, and it's not an ego thing. Yeah, it's the fact that they're happy because what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're feeling happy over listening to something I've said. I'll get a real good pleasure out of that. So just hopefully some more music and some more, so hopefully some shows. I
yeah,
want my
right.
thing I want to get is on Radio One or One Extra. I'll do. I don't care how many years it takes me. That'll be one of the things I need to do. I want to do.
That's right, mate. Watch this space. That's right. And
Yeah,
before we move on from the rapping game, we started. Well, you were penning a song for me daughter was new to channels 4. I'd like to come back to that. I know obviously demand on your time we've clearly talked about, but yeah, I wouldn't mind connecting with you on video call and moving along with that. Every time I hear that song, I want to keep it hush hush.
yeah,
But yeah, but it doesn't have to be like last. Because think about 30, 12 months, we were planning it to be a Christmas present, wasn't we? None of that. Just when we have the time. But
yeah,
yeah, I'd like to develop that. Yeah, it'd be brilliant. That
yeah.
sound.
No
Yeah,
worries.
it's right. But I want to talk what I presume is the biggest event of the year for you, the birth of your child. Um, Talk about that. The build up to that must have been turbulence. The actual event, and then like the usual traditions, wetting the baby's head. Now, just tell us about the whole incident when you found out. Any
Yeah,
fears?
yeah. So Brody was came about because me and Carla got a hot tub. Yeah, we'll leave that bit at that. Yeah. Well, we didn't think we'd have kids again. It was spoke about, but none of us made any kind of idea to go, right, whatever happens, happens, and we'll deal with where we're at then. So I genuinely think where I was at that time when Carla conceived, it was literally the beginning of my recovery. So she says it sometimes that it's happened because I've started in recovery. Maybe I wasn't ready to have another kid back in the
Yeah.
madness, or maybe we wasn't ready as a partnership. Um, but now, like when I did get recovered and that, this came about. Brody came about, and she was pregnant. You know, that it did shock me. I won't lie to you. But when I had my first child, I was terrified because I couldn't look after myself. I couldn't. I knew that I wasn't thinking straight. I had all the trauma, and I used to think like, how am I going to bring up my kid and tell him what's right when I don't know what's right? Well, I kind of do know what's right, but I'm not doing what's right. But with the second one, I thought, you've gone through the dance and in certain ways, you know what to expect. And for the first time, my mind was clear. Going through the recovery and stuff. So I felt more at ease with having another kid. Um, Obviously, I wanted another boy. She wanted a girl. She didn't get the girl, which was a bit. I know she was gutted off. She'll probably never tell Brody that, but she was gutted. Um, you know, the hormones of your partner. When I was using before, it was because they get hormonal and snappy and stuff. That was like a thing for me to go out the door instantly. Any tiniest little disagreement, I'm gone. And when I was early on in my recovery, I was still learning about how to take people where they are at that point. You know, instead of her listening, instead of me just seeing her shouting at me, I'm telling myself she's shouting at me for no reason. It's that deeper understanding of, well, she's doing this because this is going on in her body, chemical imbalances. I know she doesn't actually want to do this. She's got a lot of changes going on in her body and stuff like that. So for the first time, it was me understanding what she's going through instead of just taking everything as a personal attack. You
Yeah,
know, that was a lot. It was a lot more freeing. Um, it was tough because, like you said before, the normal things that would set you off, our answer to that would be to go and use, isn't it? So that
yeah.
option's not there
Argue.
anymore. You
Yeah,
know, it's so you're like, fuck, like, what do I do? Normally I'd storm out the door and I'm on it for 3 days, and then I'm come creeping back, and then we'll try and resolve it. You know, and I'll say anything to try and resolve it. But it's like, you know, what do you want for me to do? I'm trying this. Let's try and meet halfway. You know,
yeah,
but yeah, when he was born, yeah, great. It was a great feeling, man. It really was. But there was a lot of worry in that as well because Carla told herself that she convinced herself that she wasn't going to make it through the operation to cesarean. So and she found it difficult. Like she's had a cesarean the first time, but the second one it really took it out of her. And I had to step up, you know, and try and do what I could for while she was recovering. Again, something I never did the first time.
yeah,
So yeah, but the wetting the baby's head thing, like that, a couple of people said that to me. You know, it's like you're
yeah.
gonna wet the baby's head. I'm like, what's the point? And they just looked at me, they just looked at me like I've gone out. I'm like, what? It's like you don't need to do that, man. It was just, I think the wetting the baby's head kind of thing happened. You know, when we done the light switch on the Blackpool Tower,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
and that
what a
fell on
night
my
that
birthday.
was.
Yeah, that fell on my birthday, so that was a good celebration to find out, you know, if I was having a boy.
Yeah.
So that was good, yeah.
I'll put a picture on of that. I don't want to share. I've got loads now. If you don't mind, I'll put that. I've got a picture of that. A lovely picture. I'll put that on if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
man. Yeah, of course.
Reminds, yeah. Well, loads of lovely memories of looking back. What that got me thinking of, a couple of things. Obviously, I'm single, but what I related to you then was I'm prepared to do what I'm in relationships I have now. I'll do 100% of my 50% in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Sometimes that fluctuates. Sometimes I'll go above and beyond my 50%, but I can't sustain that if no one's prepared. If you're in a relationship with someone and they're not going to meet you 50%, but the other one is with my daughter, a few challenges I've had along the way. I've had to, and this comes from my our sponsor. I've got to meet them where they're at. You know what I mean? So imagine you have to try, and I don't always know where she's at. I'm speaking about my daughter. You know what I mean? Where she's actually at, but like it
yeah,
makes me pause and just think, why is she reacting? It's normally around school and a bit confused because she's a daddy's girl. So we're per se not arguing. She's just not following. She's saying one thing to me and then going into school and doing the opposite. And I'm
mm,
struggling, know what I mean, to keep calm. But yeah, but that meet them where they're at is like it's weird, isn't it, when you can't quite see it, but you know, just it makes you think there's something internally going on that I don't understand. Instead of why are you not listening to me? You know what I mean? Why aren't you? It's
yeah.
strange. Yeah,
It's the acceptance, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
accept that no matter what you think and how you feel about the situation, they're gonna keep doing it. Like
yeah,
us using, you know, our partners are probably sat there and gone, "Why the fuck won't he just come home?" You know,
yeah, yeah. Oh, the sort of lads, the sort of lads at the pub. I was coming home last night. It was raining. Sort of lads, without getting too deep and too personal. Yeah, he's got a 15-month-old child. When I asked him about the child, his face lit up. But then he went all quiet, stood out in the like, got away from me, stood out in the rain waiting for this bus. We go, but she's a knobhead, know what I mean? Just stood there, but I could smell the ale. His
yeah,
eyes looked like he'd been on it. He was waiting for the bus. The bus didn't turn up. The bus turned up and it was the wrong one. Changed it. Yeah, it just got me thinking, know what I mean, of them days. That
yeah,
like, yeah. You know what I mean? When everything could go wrong, just get you argued with the bus driver. Oh, mate, it was mad. It's mad when you're in that frame of mind, early fatherhood, new relationship. Just
Yeah.
having a couple, he'd probably gone out for a couple and been out for 3 days or something, to dance. Yeah, that was mad there. So yeah, but I'm really happy with that, John. It's been great catching up. So a couple of things I just want to get clear in my own head. I'm going to put a picture up of the gender reveal. I'd like a link to the. I'll find the video from that night. I'll be interested to see that. The
Yeah.
song, yeah, and I'd like a link to your battle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's right. Well, Sam, that's good for me. That's good. I want to thank you for the first interview of season two, mate. There should be a few following up. But yeah, what I want to do now, I just want you to take a couple of minutes, um, just to share a message. You kind of carried the 12-step message there for me. Kind of what I expect. Not what I expected, but I didn't know what to expect. But kind of like a message of God orientation and 12 steps is the way out of this hell. What I'd like you to do now is carry a message to, obviously the helm of this family. I know from your first interview, family means a lot to you. You're the patriarch of this family. Just a message, a snapshot in time, this relationship right here, right now, to your young grown family, like what they mean to you, and what you hope for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, to my family, there's no words to describe what they mean to me, you know. And the things that I've done in the past was because I was a sick person, you know. It's hard. If I'm gonna say anything, I say that life is hard out there. It is incredibly difficult. People aren't spiritual in any shape or form, you know. And to accept that people are going to be the way they are, you cannot change them. So the peace you will get from life by just doing what you need to be doing for you,
Yeah,
well, is just that's a massive piece of advice that I was given. And true serenity comes from acceptance. Yeah, accept. Do you know, serenity prayer is massive for me. You know, it's an overlooked prayer in meetings. You just say at the end of the meeting as part of the tradition of the meeting. Yeah, nah. To me, it's fundamental. You know, it's grant me the strength to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, if you fucking try and live by them, mate, you'll be good.
yeah. And again, relating to my thing, I learned a word in here. I've been in this place 8 months now, but there's a word called discernment, DISC, and that's serenity, but that's discernment. Distinguish between. So, like, I'd walk down the street when I come into recovery. I'd walk down the street, I'd see a beggar, and I'd think I'd have to give him. I'd have no money, but I'd give him what was in my pocket because that I'm helping others. You know what I mean? But that discernment, that choice, what you should get involved in and what you shouldn't.
Yeah,
Um, Serenity prayer in a nutshell. Know what I mean? And it's about peace. Now, when I walk past the people begging for money, I kind of look at them and give them a nod just to acknowledge to see them because a lot of these people who from the homeless
yeah,
think people don't see them. But I've got no money to give them. I can't. I've got to discern that I can't give them any money because I've got none. I've got hungry children that need stuff. I don't have much money, so that actual little discernment of what I should and shouldn't be getting involved in, and it doesn't work in all areas. There's other areas I need to work in, but yeah, it's a big one for me. That yeah. So what reading between the lines? Obviously, your discernment, your number one goal is your family, and I don't think that's ever been in question, John. Know what I mean?
yeah,
From my stance, yeah. Might look mad when you're in our because I'll have the same in active addiction. It was the same. It was just deluded. Know what I mean? I couldn't handle my head and I'd run out the door.
yeah,
Yeah, right, mate. Well, that's about yeah. We're nearly done, mate. So I'm just going to wrap up by saying congratulations, mate. One whole year and more in the bag. Unbelievable. Um, well done on the bear for Brody. I met him the other week, boss. Yeah, so yeah, mate. And just looking at you for the old interview, mate, you're so calm and relaxed now. What magic it is, this stuff we do, innit?
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's right. Well, that's good for me, mate. I'm good for that. So, what's on tomorrow, mate? Have you got plans tomorrow? Work by any chance?
Yeah, back to work. You know, we've got 4 days in. Carla's birthday's on Friday,
Oh, it's
so
nice.
yeah, big 30. Should
Wow, the big one.
Yeah,
Oh,
she don't know how much it's gonna hurt after that.
have you got hope you got some surprises up your sleeve?
Oh, of course I've, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Sound is right. That's right. Well, happy birthday. I'll send you something good on the day, something thoughtful. Sound
Yeah,
is
man.
right. Is right, John. Nice one, mate. First how interview. How I forgot to do how. How. I'll see you too. Thanks so much, John. It's been a pleasure.
No, pleasure is mine, mate. Tell you, thank you.
That's right. Sound is right, mate. Catch up with you soon.
Yes, man. Nice one. See you later.
Right, ta-ra, ta-ra.